This week on Geek Crash Course, I'm covering a classic dystopian movie. Mad Max is a 1979 Australian film starring Mel Gibson as the titular character. Titular. The film takes place in a dystopian Australia, which seems sort of weird because Australia seems like such a happy place. It doesn't seem like a standard end-of-the-worldy kind of a place. Anyway, there are massive oil shortages worldwide, and it's every man for himself in a world run rampant with gangs and criminals unconcerned by law enforcement or social order. The Main Force Patrol, or MFP, is the law enforcement agency tasked with keeping law and order. It's not going so well for them. Max Rockatansky is the main character of Mad Max. He's an MFP officer charged with keeping the local gangs in check and attempting to control the rampant crime. He's frustrated by the lack of justice he sees and worries about losing his mind or going mad. Goose is a fellow officer of the MFP that works with Max and is increasingly angry over the MFP's lack of ability to deter violence and help people. Johnny and Toe Cutter are two members of a gang running amok in a local town that has been stealing, raping, vandalizing, and generally terrifying everyone. Mel Gibson got into a bar brawl the night before his audition and showed up to read for the part with scrapes and bruises all over his face. The casting directors liked him and asked him back, but when he returned fully healed a few weeks later, they didn't even recognize him. Max and Goose are on patrol when Max chases down the head of a local gang during a high-speed chase. The gang member dies in a crash, but his lackey, Johnny, is arrested. When Johnny is released from MFP custody, he and Toe Cutter sabotage Goose's motorcycle, trap him, and set him and his vehicle on fire. Max has had enough of how useless the MFP is and the power of the gang in the local city. As any good vigilante does, he decides to take matters into his own hands. However, while his wife and infant son are hiding out in a safe place, the gang tracks them down and runs them over. Max, at his breaking point after his wife and son are murdered, grabs his souped-up police car, a pursuit special, and goes after the gang. He very methodically and kind of sociopathically hunts down the gang members, killing them one by one. In the end, he finds Johnny, cuffs him to a crashed car with leaking fuel, and hands him a saw. Johnny can either wait for the vehicle to explode or saw off his limb in an attempt to get away. The vehicle explodes, and although we don't know what became of Johnny, I'm pretty sure he had a bad time. Max, now having lost his mind, goes out on the open road. In 1981's Mad Max 2 Road Warrior, Max is back out on the open road with an Australian cattle dog at his side and a sawn-off shotgun as his weapon of choice. After kind of losing his mind and going on a little bit of a crazy murder rampage at the end of the first film, this story follows Max as he rediscovers his compassion and humanity by helping a group of settlers that live in and around an oil refinery save and defend their rare stores of oil. It also features a punkish, bondage-looking, mohawk-bearing motorcycle gang. Is pretty cool. 1985's Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome takes place 20 years after the original Mad Max, starring the returning Mel Gibson as well as Tina Turner, yes, you heard that right, who plays the character Anti-Entity, the ruthless leader of the local town. Max is drafted by Tina Turner, okay, Anti-Entity, to provoke a confrontation with a local to battle to the death in the Thunderdome. The Thunderdome is an arena with only one rule. 2 men enter, 1 man leaves. It's really awesome and a little bit gladiator-like. In the second half of the movie, Max saves a bunch of kids that kind of think he's their messiah. It's a little odd and Island of the Lost Boys-ish, but it really humanizes Max and turns him into a legend among the children. 2015's Mad Max Fury Road will be a full reboot of the Mad Max series, starring Tom Hardy. There's also a Mad Max video game being released in 2014. It'll be an open-world adventure that features Max on the search for his signature car. In 2011, the filming location for Fury Road, the new movie, had to be changed from Australia to Africa. Australia experienced some extremely heavy rain, and the desert where they were supposed to be shooting ended up full of greenery and wildflowers, which is not the aesthetic the filmmakers were looking for. Watch all 3 original movies. They're violent, harsh, gross, have lots of explosions, and are generally quite excellent. What would be your signature vehicle in an oil-restricted post-apocalyptic world? Let me know in the comments below. Remember to subscribe for more Geek Crash Course. There's an industrial dance organization called Death Guild that has built a working replica of the Thunderdome at the Burning Man Music Festival for the last 15 years. Combatants fight with foam swords, and in order to watch the battle, you have to climb the walls. Thanks for watching this week's episode on Mad Max. If you have any questions, you can find Geek Crash Course on Twitter, Facebook, and our website, geekcrashcourse.com. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time on Geek Crash Course. I'm on camera.